I'm Channing McCorston, the Container Guy. In this video, we will let you follow along as a customer made a last-minute change on this modification to us. So what we thought was going to be a very simple, common modification, one that we didn't want to follow with the film crew just because it was a man door, CSM brackets, strut channel install, and a simple access hatch. Got very difficult. There was a lot of back and forth with the customer, and we have a very short timeline to deliver this thing now. So we are going to have to come up with some custom frames very quickly. That's going to accept some intake dampers and 3 huge exhaust fans out the back of this can, and we need to do it quickly. So follow along as we figure this out. And so the sides of the containers, both sides, are relatively used up with space. This is going to be an E-house. It's a test container for something up at a northern mine. And so they are going to be generating a ton of heat, and in the midsummer when it's the hottest, they're concerned about it overheating in there and potentially damaging the electrical equipment. So they're looking for 7,500 CFM of exhaust power for this thing to just 100% ensure if it's plus 40 out, it'll still keep all that equipment nice and cool. And in order to do that, we're going to be creating a frame out of our end wall 60-inch window framing kit that's going to adapt to 3 16-inch exhaust fans. That's going to be up high on the end wall of this container, and then on the door end now they want us to install 2 24 by 24 intake dampers. And those aren't just regularly available, so what we ended up having to do is buy exhaust louvers and grates for the outside to shed the water, and we're gonna turn them inside out, so now they're intake dampers, and then again modify some frames to allow us to install them in these container doors. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to remove door handles or the lock rods that are nearest the hinges. I'm thinking we probably could put these on, but if the doors open and close nicely with just the 2 center ones, maybe we'll leave them off. But yeah, so we're gonna get at that right now. We're gonna remove all the bolts and remove these so they're out of our way, and get to work and let you follow along as we modify our frames, figure out a solution, and get her installed for this customer very quickly. I think we told them maybe middle to the end of next week. It's Friday today to get this thing delivered, and I think we potentially get this thing out today. So it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna push, we're gonna go hard. So you might have heard me say earlier on in the video here, and I think we potentially get this thing out today, so it's gonna be fun. It never works that way. That's why we love doing everything in 3D model prior to starting on a lot of this, so we can have all of our frames laser cut and folded perfectly to fit the components that are going inside of this. And we can also order the correct components. And so you'll see that here. These look awesome. They turned out great. It was amazing what we were able to do with the material that we had laying around, or what was at least in stock in our city. So we're happy the way it turned out. This is going to function the way that they need it. And the customer needs this can just to perform what was supposed to be a 1-week test and now turned into a 1-year test. But it's just a test that they're performing. And I think this thing pretty much, well, I don't know, turn into storage or something afterwards. So let's give you a final tour of this can, and then let's get it shipped off to our customer. And so here we have the man door that's installed. If you notice, the self-closing device is up high on this door, and it's got the locking door lever on the outside, and then panic hardware on the inside. And so that seems to work very well now on this door. We actually struggled quite a bit there. We had a faulty slab from the manufacturer, and just things weren't going perfect. They weren't nice and straight. We tried everything we could to try to square this thing off and get it to work, but eventually had to start with a new slab, re-drill all of our holes, install all the hardware all over again. And so that definitely extended the time frame on us delivering this to the customer. And then lastly, on this side, we have our access hatch frame. And so this here, the customer is going to be running cables in or out, and they wanted it to open like an awning and have a nice ledge for the cables to sit on that wasn't sharp, going to either kink or cut through the cables. And so that'll give them that. I'd love to come up with a bit better of a cable protrusion frame at some point, but whatever, this gets them by for the test that they're going to perform. Now let's run to the back end of this container and show you the the T16 exhaust vent frame. So these are 6 inches larger than our typical 10-inch exhaust vent. Something we had to very quickly come up with because the customer needed 7,500 CFM of exhaust airflow power. So this thing's going to be insane. I think every 10 seconds going to exchange the air inside of here. So that's pretty much like a paint booth or more. So too bad the vents are showing up tomorrow. We're not going to be able to put them in, so the customer's going to have to do that. And but I'd love to jump inside this thing once they're turned on and just feel the suction. And so here it is. We taken our 60-inch end wall window frame header and our 60-inch end wall window frame footer and some side frames and cut these down so that the opening is only about 16.5 inches to fit that exhaust fan. And then we've actually also taken a couple chunks out of another header and welded them in here. And so that's given us some center columns where we can get 3 exhaust fans in a single frame. And so this worked out quite well. You know, it's we like doing this better than just welding in angle iron frame. It sticks with, you know, the container modification world framing kits that we love so much. They're the weldless kit. You're not burning any paint on this can. Because this is a used container, I'd be less concerned about welding something in and touching up the paint. But so I definitely want to go this route if I was using a one-time use shipping container. So I hope you enjoyed following us along as we quickly modified, you know, came up with some solutions to get this customer a solution that they need for their customer. And so if you enjoyed it, please help us out, give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell for notifications. And as always, check us out at tcg.ca. Hope you learned something.